Today I'm going to try to upgrade my Roland V guitar, which is a guitar with Roland guitar synth built into this Fender Stratocaster. Has a divided pickup here, but all the sounds are internal to this and I can't plug this in to an external guitar synthesizer. However, with this gadget here, which comes from Hex-FX in Canada, it's a little module that rather cleverly fits into the jack socket of the guitar, and then allows me to plug this into my guitar synthesizer. I have to say the delivery on this was pretty spectacular. I got this from Canada, all the way from Vancouver Island, courtesy of Canada Post and Royal Mail, and it arrived in 5 days. I actually bought this myself. It's not a paid for video, and it costs around $255, including shipping. That was US dollars, which in UK money worked out a little over £200, which I think is a very good price for this, if it works as it's specified to. So first thing I've got to do is to take off the jack socket, and then I have some instructions here. I'm going to be doing a small modification on the guitar to create a little bit of clearance in here, and we'll see how it goes from there. So I will now proceed to start taking the guitar apart. Another thing about this upgrade is if you install it according to the instructions, you're putting 2 wires together, which means the unit is always on. So for that I'm going to take out the battery compartment. Not a bad idea anyway when you're working on the electronics. There's an option, I could actually put a small dip switch onto the main scratch plate here in order to switch the unit on and off. I'm probably not going to do that just yet because I don't want to modify the guitar in any way, because this is a reversible change to the guitar, but I may do that later. I have to say everything's a little bit tight in here, so I'm going to have to maybe undo a few of the cable ties in the back here in order to get enough length on some of these cables to pull it through to the front. So I'm just going to investigate that for a moment. So now I've cut through the cable tie, I can pull that out, and that's going to give me a bit more length on these wires here. So here are the instructions that I've been sent. It says cut or desolder 4 wires from the 1/4 inch jack, connect the black and white wires together and insulate them, stuff them into the rear cavity. By shorting these 2 wires, it causes the battery pack to always be on. To turn off the power, you have to unplug the battery pack. The black and brown wires you can solder directly to the GK13 PCB, or solder them to the provided connector with black and red wires as in the picture below, which is here. So at the moment I'm not too sure which of the black and white wires I have to connect together. I think it's going to be these 2 here, and I think these 2 are the signal wires, the ones that are either side. But I'm just going to get a continuity meter out and just check that by inserting a jack plug to make sure I cut the right wires. Okay, so I've now checked that with my continuity meter, and indeed the 2 middle ones are the power supplies and the other 2 are the signal cables. So rather than desolder these, I'm going to cut them off in case I ever want to restore this guitar back to its factory settings, and then at least I'll know which cable goes where. So I'm just going to do that now. So the next stage is to solder the 2 signal wires to this connector here. So we've got a connector on board. You can either do that or you can solder onto the board itself. I'm going to take the easy option and just solder to these 2 wires. So before I solder this up, there's one more modification I have to do, and that is to file these 2 small grooves in the guitar so that they don't foul the 2 switches at the top. Here and here. A little bit scary, but what I'm going to do, as suggested, is put some masking tape on here, a trace around the old jack socket just to make sure that I don't go outside that and cause an unsightly mess on my guitar. So that now seems to fit in nice and snugly. It's right up against the body of the guitar, and I can proceed to do the soldering. So now I've soldered the two power wires. The brown goes to the red and the black goes to the black, into the connector onto the main board. Now the second part is I've got to connect that to the internal electronics in the back of the instrument, and then I have to connect the connector that was in the back of the instrument into here. So here is the connector coming through from the GK13, and here's the connector on the main board, which I've got to disconnect. So this is going to be a bit of a fiddly job. I'll probably do that one offline. So I've just noticed that the wires on the plug from the GK13 are differently color coded to the originals, but I'm assuming that these are correct. It's a polarized plug as well, so make sure you get it in the right way round. I'm going to try and put it in and see what happens. So that all seems to have connected okay. It's a bit of a fiddle to get the wires in, but now it's all ready to be screwed back into position. So now you can see the two slots that I've filed to prevent them fouling the two switches there, and everything fits in snugly. So I'm now going to put the screws back in. I've just noticed that in the kit there are some flat-headed screws which replace the countersunk ones that were used for the, sorry, that's not the right one, the countersunk ones that were used for the original jack socket. So I should be using these, which will make a nice contact with the circuit board. So there we have it. It's installation of a GK13 pickup in VGStrat. Let's go and see if it works. So now I'm in the studio and happy to report that everything is working as expected. So here's the GK13s down here, and I'll run through the rig that I have. So this is the rig. The output from the MIDI guitar is going into a Boss GHKC AD, which converts it for the Boss GM800. Then the acoustic signal is coming out from the guitar out here. It goes through a Mellotron pedal and then into my ME90 guitar processing unit, and I've got a Strymon Cloudburst in the loop there for ambient sounds. Then the combined output of this goes through a mixer, so from the Boss ME90 and the Boss GM800 goes through a little stereo mixer. The stereo mixer then goes into my loop pedal, and then I'm taking an output to a Bose PA. Now I've had to play with the sensitivity settings on this quite a bit, so if I go into the menu here and go to the GK setting, I've set it up for a GK3 pickup. I've put the gain to 2, gain 3 was a little bit glitchy, and then on the string settings I've had to mess around with the gain here a little bit, so I've had to increase the gain of string 5 and 6 to about 92. The E string I had to increase to about 92, string 2 B strings on 65 and string 375, so I may mess with these a bit more to get the optimum sensitivity, but everything seems to be working well. I'll give you a quick demonstration. So I did just experiment plugging the guitar into the normal guitar output here into my pedal, or relying on the Boss GK13s A to D unit. It doesn't actually make any difference, so I can actually unplug that. It makes it easier. I've just got the one cable in here, and you can hear that the sounds from the VG modelling guitar are still working perfectly well. So I've got the acoustic 12 string on there. That's the banjo. So all these things are working as normal. I can go through back to the Stratocaster, just normal. All working perfectly. And then I can bring in the guitar synthesizer. So the tracking's pretty good actually. Maybe slightly glitchier than some of the piezo guitars I have. I've goed in with the piezo bridge, but I'm pretty happy with it. It works very well. And let's try a few different sounds. It's the mono lead. Just turn the guitar off so you can hear the synth. It's all working very nicely. All in all, I'm absolutely thrilled with this upgrade. It enables me to use my Stratocaster as a MIDI guitar, so thanks to Big Sterner for making such a thing possible. It's absolutely brilliant, and the ability to have the VG guitar sounds like the acoustic and stuff, and then play the guitar synth is absolutely marvellous. So thanks very much, and thanks for watching.